Top 10 Best NBA Players 2018. Records and points are the perfect qualities to define the following NBA players when they get onto the basketball court and make a show. They're really good at scoring points, and they will probably become legends. Join us and let's discover the best NBA players of 2018. Number 10. Devin Booker. With just 3 years of experience, this young basketball promise is already being considered one of the best players.
Quick move, Booker, beautiful finish by Devin Booker.
And it's because the shooting guard of the Phoenix Suns has an average of 24.9 scores per match. This number was obtained after analyzing 53 games. However, something we can't leave behind is the percentage of three-pointers, because with his 38.3% of points scored is considered one of the best in his field. Also this season, he might become the third youngest NBA player that reaches 4,000 points in his whole career, just behind LeBron and Durant. He might not be the most athletic player, the most explosive, or the best defense, but is a good shooting guard. And with his short 21 years, there are a lot of expectations for this Phoenix Sun, because with him in the field, his team scored 16 victories last season.
Booker working off the screen from Bender, and he scores again.
Number 9. DeMarcus Cousins. Although he missed most of last season because of a tendon injury, the points of Boogie, as he's also called, are enough to position him in the 9th place, despite just playing 48 games. He was the New Orleans Pelicans center and scored about 25.2 points per match in average. However, DeMarcus is one of the players that take their position too seriously, because he also has one of the highest rebound numbers, being that defense is the most important part for him. Also, he has one of the highest numbers of steals per match. Sadly, every Giant has a weakness, and DeMarcus has one of the worst registers of losing the ball of 5 per match. When the season ended, Boogie signed with the Golden State Warriors for the 2018 to 2019 season, so we just need to wait for him to recover and surprise us. Number 8. Russell Westbrook. Being one of the most required players from the last season after playing 80 games, this point guard from Oklahoma City Thunder is the definition of a versatile player after scoring an average of 25.4 points per match.
Running to the rim. Oh!
Another virtue from the Brody is his good air game, having one of the highest percentages of offensive and defensive rebounds. Since we're mentioning his defense, Westbrook has one of the highest steal numbers last season. But if we have to choose which is his best characteristic, we chose his assists because he has an average of 10 per match. However, one of his biggest weaknesses, especially because of the position where he plays, he has a lot of turnovers, with an average of 4.8 losses per match. Characterized by his athletic and high level, Westbrook is a player that won't rest a minute. This can be seen in his numbers since in the 2017 to 2018 season, he became the first player who has scored 3-pointers against all the other 29 rivals.
And Russell Westbrook.
Number 7. Kevin Durant. With a great size, he's one of the key pieces for the Golden State Warriors. Durant takes this place because of the great offensive role he plays for his team. With an average of 26.4 points per match, he's basically a score machine. Also, he has great skills when it comes to three-pointers. He has a record of 41.9% of scores in this kind of throw. Although a lot of people have criticized him for his bad defense, this Giant has showed us that he doesn't only score points, but these last seasons, he has shown that he can be good at this, especially blocking, having the 5th best score in this field. Not all the players can say they have prevented LeBron himself from scoring. He was even considered for the NBA Defensive Player of the Year award. Height, potency, and speed, these are the most important characteristics of this player, who in July of this year signed again with the Warriors. Number 6. Stephen Curry. In this number, we have one of the best players of this generation, considered one of the best shooters of this generation, and the only one who has been named MVP unanimously. Last season, with just 51 games, he was a key piece for the 3rd title of the Golden State Warriors, scoring an average of 26.4 points per game. Curry has also had a high average of 3-pointers with an incredible 42.3%. What else can we want from this magician who is the first player that has reached 200 three-pointers in 6 seasons? Number 5. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Even though his name is hard to pronounce, he's one of the players worth mentioning. He's only 23 years old and already one of the best players. There's not much to say about this power forward from the Milwaukee Bucks that hasn't been already mentioned. One of the most remarkable characteristics of this Greek player is that he has physical characteristics that allow him to play in different positions, from building plays to catching the ball. This is because he's 6'11" in height. It's not hard to tell why. On the other hand, we can't stop mentioning his great ability to score, because he's reached an average of 26.9 per game, an enviable number because it puts him near some veterans. Another great aspect from this young player is his capacity in assisting. In the 2017-2018 season, he reached more than 1,000 in his whole career. He also had an average of 50% in field shots, a number that was only accomplished by Magic Johnson. If this wasn't enough for you to realize why he is in this top, the Greek Freak, as he's also known, is the unique player from the Bucks that has been called for 2 consecutive NBA All-Star games, something that hasn't happened since the time of Marques Johnson about 30 years ago. Yes! Number 4. Damian Lillard. This point guard from the Portland Trail Blazers is one of the players since his arrival to the team that hasn't stopped breaking records, since he's the fastest player in reaching 10,000 points on his whole team's history. He has an average of 26.9 points per match, and we can say that he is one of the best players on his team. This is because his style is highlighted by his big athletic attributes. Adding in his great speed makes him a nightmare for any defense. Let's not forget his great ball game, since he has one of the best assists numbers. If we have to pick one of the many characteristics Lillard has, we pick his three-pointers because it's what he tries to score most of the time. Despite the high number of tries, he's hit 36.1%, besides obtaining one of the best scores in free throws with 91.6% scores. Number 3. LeBron James. He's the myth, the legend, the self-proclaimed New York King. Yes, you're probably wondering, how come one of the greatest players of all time isn't in first place? Well, even though last season his numbers were big, there are better ones. After playing 82 games with an average of 27.5 points each, LeBron has shown us that he's worth his weight in gold. He doesn't only have one of the best scores this season, he also possesses one of the best averages in field shots with an incredible 54.2%. And if this wasn't enough, the small forward from the Los Angeles Lakers is also the second best in this top when it comes to assists, with an average of 9.1 per game. However, not everything can be compliments for one of the most important players, because one of his principal defects is losing the ball, because he occupies 4th place in the rank of players that make this mistake. Well, nobody's perfect. Number 2. Anthony Davis. Getting closer to the most glorious player, we meet one of the few that surpassed the great LeBron. And the numbers don't lie. He has an average of 28.1 points per game. He's the power forward of the New Orleans Pelicans and shows his 6 years of experience competing with the best players in the world. Although he's contributed in an offensive way to the Pelicans, one of Davis's virtues is its air game. He knows how to take advantage of his long arms. He's one of the best rebound receptors in the whole season with an average of 11.1 per match, not mentioning he's a specialist in alley-oop. Since we mentioned his air game, Davis also has the highest numbers in blocks, surpassing the second one by a big gap. Not for nothing, he was in the NBA All-Defensive First Team. It's known that attacking sells out, but defending wins matches. Number 1. James Harden. Being one of the most versatile players, he's the shooting guard from the Houston Rockets and earns first place because of the great quantity of points he has, reaching 30.4 per game. This milestone was accomplished thanks to his many offensive moves, the most remarkable being the Euro step and the step-back jumper. On the other hand, he's one of the players with the highest rate of three-point shots. Despite the fact he has a lot of tries, he has an average of 36.7% of points scored this way, a number that puts him in this list and the top 5. However, One of the most criticized defects he has are his defensive skills, since he's one of the players that loses the ball more with an average of 4.4 per match. But besides his mistakes, the Beard is also the NBA most valuable player of last year. Do you have any doubt about him being in first place? If you liked this video, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss our content. That's all for today. See you in the next video.